What is going on, YouTube family? I know my hat looks utterly ridiculous, but I am what you call a real redneck right now. My neck is so red and fried, it hurts. I've been wearing my hair in a braid because it's so hot and I burn it. So, found me this little hat at the dollar store. Actually, Ben did, and he said, please wear a hat before you just fry your neck completely off. All right, what'd you find? Cool. So me and the kids are out here in the garden. We are fixing to pick squash, cucumbers, all the kinds of things that are ready. Then we're gonna take y'all out to the front garden. This is not gonna be a true like garden update. We're just harvesting today. And Ben and I decided this is something we've done for a couple years. I wanna show you a cool way that we harvest our beans. So today is step one. We're gonna go out there. We've let the plants stay in the ground and produce pretty much all the beans they're gonna produce. We're gonna pull the plants, get them off of there, and then lay them out on a tablecloth until tomorrow. And then I'm gonna take you and show you how we shell beans pretty much effortlessly. So let's get to picking and then we'll head out there.
It's natural jewelry.
We're picking these mini white cucumbers. They're so good. Lemon squash, straight neck squash, just keeping it real. Some of these look pitiful. As you can see, they done. That just seems to happen here in Arkansas when it gets really hot summer like this. The squash will just lay down and die from the heat. It's definitely not lack of water. We've had more rain here than maybe ever in the summer, but I've still got some thriving, so I'm not gonna complain. We'll take what we got, replant what dies. Look at this watermelon. I can already taste it. Look at these little, I think those are squash pumpkins. Cute, huh? I think there's another one down. Oh yeah.
We love cute food.
I picked all these spaghetti squash too. I think those look cool. They're kind of green and then they get an orange tint when they're ready. That was a Baker Creek. It was actually a bush type spaghetti squash, so it didn't run everywhere. This is awesome looking. This is a squash pumpkin. It's got bugs on it.
That's cool.
Isn't that cool? I love cool looking stuff. Meadowlark, I'm picking that. I don't think that one's ready. These are getting a little soft. I think the plant's dying, but I'll take what I get. Candy roaster, that's a big honker. I'm excited to try that. I think they'll actually get bigger. And I don't know, Lane, if you can pan through here, there's a bunch of them. And this plant looks awesome.
Cute.
Y'all ready for this? That's huge. It's almost as long as my arm. Awesome.
That's huge.
You want to hold the baby?
Oh, you better throw it at me.
You want to hold the baby? Cantaloupe. Lane, can you show those? Here's some honeydew. Come look at these beauties.
Is that ready to take?
It might be. I probably need to clip this. You got your knife? Here, Emily.
Grab it and twist, like roll it. Yeah, like that.
I think the rest can wait. All right, guys, so we're out here in the front garden. Things have gotten a little grassy out here. The tomatoes, the noodle beans, the onions, another row of tomatoes, all that is still looking good, but I've kind of let the bush beans go because here in Arkansas, bush beans only produce for about 3 weeks, and then they're pretty much played out, and if you want more, you've got to plant for fall. So we are picking the bush beans, green beans, purple dove beans, all those that we've been picking probably today for the last time. I've got a row of pole beans, which are the same beans we gave y'all when we sent out all the free seeds. They're about to kick off and start, so I'll still have some snap beans to pick. And then I planted for my mom and dad a part of a row of a horticulture bean, which is a shell bean. I'm gonna show them to you over here. And what I'm gonna do today is they are loaded down. The plants are starting to die. So they've produced all the beans they're going to. I'm gonna actually pull them up. We're gonna take them over in a pile and sit in the shade and pull those beans off. Then I'm gonna lay them out on a tablecloth until tomorrow. And then I'm gonna take you on tomorrow's video and show you how we shell them. But today I'm gonna get them pulled up. I'm gonna show them to you first, so come on over here. Again, don't judge the grassiness. When I see something is about done, I quit worrying about the grass. The beans have far outgrown the grass. I've choked back the grass long enough, and I just don't wanna waste any more gas on the tiller or time or anything like that when I know it's gonna get tilled up. So these are what they look like. As you can see, they are loaded down, and they will start out like pretty white. And then when they get ready, they're gonna turn pink like this. And they're full of these pretty pink shell beans. These are called horticulture beans. This is a Baker Creek bean. I've bought all different brands that have always done well, but this one they're huge pods full of beans. Now some of these are gonna look like this. They're a little bit over mature, and they're gonna have, the beans in them are gonna be a little bit drier, and you see they're whiter. But that is just kind of like buying a dry bean. These are by no means a dry bean. They can't be stored like a dry bean. They haven't dried enough yet. You'd have to leave them on the vine a lot longer. But these are just a little bit drier than these. No problem, because when you cook them, they're gonna swell back up with the water. So, all right, I am going to set y'all up. I'm gonna get to pulling beans and hauling them over to the pickers, and they're gonna pick them all off the vines. All right, you can see Lane's got the last load. They're loaded down. And then Emily and the grandparents are over there in the shade picking them off. And we will wait till tomorrow to continue this. Okay, so last thing for today, this video is not gonna be super long because it's super duper hot out here, is I am going to take y'all around with me as I go check the other beans to see if they're done. Let's start here with these pole beans. I think they were called McCloskey's or McCloskin pole beans. Let's see. They've got a lot of wasps on them. I don't know if those are pollinating them or what. So this is off the pole beans. One thing I'm noticing on the pole beans, they don't have the quantity of production as the bush beans. I'm wondering, do y'all find that to be true, or is it just this variety or what? But there's not near as many beans on them, and maybe they just haven't got good and started yet. So I'm not gonna judge yet, but I'm just wondering what y'all thought about that. All right, I see a few on here, so I'm gonna put y'all down and pick beans, and I'll let you know what all I wind up with today. All right, so we got a ton of peppers, squash and cucumbers, a couple of tomatoes. All right guys, so we are done outside. It is about 1:30 in the afternoon. We're heading in for a little bit, cool off. It's the hottest part of the day here, from now till late afternoon. So we're trying to wrap up our stuff a little earlier and get out of this heat. But I wanted to show y'all what all we wound up harvesting. Down here is some red onions. I'm gonna be showing y'all how the onions did from Baker Creek. I'm gonna be honest, this one is our least favorite. I'm gonna go back and do some checking on which one that is, but it was ready before all the rest. It wound up laying over and they didn't get very big. They may make up for it in flavor. We're gonna give them a try. But the other three varieties that you saw me plant in the spring are still out there, and they are getting enormous bulbs on them. So I'm watching for any signs of them going to seed, because you don't want that to happen. If you're wanting to store onions, you don't want them to go to seed and put on the big seed head at the top, because they'll put energy into doing that, and that just affects how long they will store. So don't let them do that. When they start laying over or getting brown on the top, you're about ready to get them out of the ground, because they will almost like disappear. The green part will almost disappear. That's what had happened with these. These had laid over. They were a little hard to find, and they were just done growing. So I'm gonna let them lay here for a little bit and kind of cure. You can leave them outside to do that. But we have thunderstorms that are popping up every afternoon. It doesn't necessarily always rain here, but it could, and they don't need to get rained on. After that, I will take them to their permanent storage, which will be in a cool outbuilding on some racks where they can get airflow. But that's how the onions are doing. We wound up picking 2 of these candy roasters. I sent one home with my parents. We're excited to try this. I think I'm gonna slice this lengthwise, get the seeds out, roast it lightly with some olive oil on it, and then cook up a meat mixture and stuff that in there and bake it a little bit longer with some cheese on top. I'll let y'all know how that turns out. Wound up with 2 sugar pie pumpkins, our first meadowlark and our first squash pumpkin, a few tomatoes, and then these are the python beans from Baker Creek. I actually pulled it out of the basket, and the kids and my parents both thought it actually was a snake. It does look like a snake. I'm gonna snap these and throw them in with the rest of my green beans that I picked. Green beans are pretty much done here, so if you hear some screaming, it's probably the kids cheering because they're so sick of picking beans. Also showed you a second ago, I picked a bunch of peppers, cucumbers, squash, all that, but I pawned that off on my parents because I still have squash, cucumbers, and peppers from the last time I picked. So that's it for today. I've got over here in my messy garage, excuse that, I've got the beans sitting there. Beans just shell a whole lot better if you let them lay for about a day. Some of the moisture that's in them will start to dry out and they'll just shell a whole lot better. The beans themselves won't get dry, but their shell will, and the pod, I guess you'd say, and then they're gonna shell a whole lot better. So stay tuned for tomorrow because Ben or I, one or maybe both of us, are gonna take you over to a family member's house and show you how we shell those. It's really cool, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for hanging with us on just an ordinary average day here on the farm, getting the garden picked. We will see you guys later, and God bless.